because it's 12:30 at night and my voice is kind of gone. But the balance changes just dropped for Season 11, and they actually did something to change the meta a little bit. So we're going to be taking a look at it real quick. I'm probably not going to be super animated. Number one, the family's asleep. And number two, like I said, my voice is gone. As you can see, though, right off the bat, we got a nerf to the Tundra, the Hammer Forged Barrel, 35% breath hold time penalty, and a 20% hit flinch penalty. I don't see that being something that is going to have a huge impact because I think there's a lot of people that use the Tiger team anyway. But, you know, anytime that we get any type of a nerf to the actual meta in the game, I'm going to be happy about it. Tundra has been the number one sniper in the game by far for a really long time. So we'll take what we can get right there. HS0405, extend the light barrel. That's pretty much a must-use attachment. 3% sprint speed penalty, that's actually pretty substantial, and 5% rate of fire penalty as well. Those are two that I think will actually potentially impact it and could potentially move the KRM into the number one spot. Not sure we'll necessarily see it, but a possibility. We got another nerf to the USS9. Once again, this is not what I was looking for. We've seen them add bullet spread penalty nerfs to the USS9 before, and they haven't changed anything. It's the exact same thing as they did before as well with the 32 mag. Last time I think they went from like 5% to 15, so now they're going 15 to 25. Once again, the thing just needs either a range nerf, it needs it needs a multiplier nerf, it needs a butt ton of recoil, one of those three. I just don't see a BSA nerf being sufficient, especially given that there's plenty of people that don't even use the 32 round mags anyway. There's a freaking 50 round on it as a 3-tapping SMG. There's just so many good alternatives. I don't think that we're going to see the USS9 moving out of the number one spot unless the SO14 ends up replacing it right there, but we'll see. Got the QQ9 BSA buff again. I feel like we've had a couple of those. Not mad about it. Anytime we see the QQ9 moving closer to the meta, I'm going to be happy about it. Got the Dingo range profile improved from 1826 to 2129, so that's 3 and 3 meters. Not bad. I feel like it's actually kind of an underrated gun right now just because of some of the buffs that it's gotten. Black Ops Suppressor, 10% horizontal recoil buff. Black Ops Stock, 3% movement speed. And Steel Range Stock, increased ADS movement speed buff from 20 to 30. Pretty solid changes right there. We got the Striker 45. Damage profile added 1 damage in the 3rd phase and 3 damage in the 4th phase. So the Striker 45 looking kind of juicy, but stomach multiplier reduced from 1.1 to... Can we take a second? Can we take a second to talk about the fact that the Striker 45 got a multiplier nerf before the USS9? Can we talk about how little sense? Have you ever seen any person in the history of COD Mobile complain about the Striker 45? We're getting a Striker 40. It's okay. It's okay. Moving on. It's 12:30. ADS bullet spread improvement by a lot for the Lag 53. Lower arm multiplier buff for the Lag 53 and max bullet impact increase from 1.4 to 1.6. Lag 53 I felt like was already a very solid option. And it's now going to have substantially better BSA than the Odin. I think the Odin's the best direct comparison. I will say the Parabarrel on the Lag 53 actually makes it really, really competitive. We don't see a lot of people use it because it is one of those where you do have to be playing Claw in order to use it effectively. I think it's a very underrated attachment, and I'm very interested to see how that's going to factor in for the Lag 53 in the current meta. Quaxer sprint speed increased by 0.15, which is nice. Faster rate of fire buff for the enhanced bolt. Okay, that's actually really juicy. Extra 3% right there. And the marksman barrel getting an extra 6% damage range. QXR could potentially move. The enhanced bolt especially could move the QXR back into the top 10 depending on what that does to the time to kill. I know whenever it got buffed last, there were some pro players that were already starting to use it. Never really actually made its way into the meta, but I'm interested to see what that could be. Reduce reload time for the Einhorn. That's a good change, but it still needs like 17 other buffs to be remotely competitive with the meta. Obviously, the reload time was very, very necessary because it was monstrously bad. But that only accounted for like maybe 20% of the issue with the gun. I don't know what we're doing right there. Vargo bullet speed increased by a substantial amount. That's good. I don't know why we had a freaking AR with 650 meters per second bullet speed. That's just laughable. 30 round mag, increased lower arm multiplier by 0.1. Custom, I believe that's a barrel, 20% bullet speed. Still nobody's going to use the Vargo. I don't know what the point of that was. RAAL ADS buff. I'm like a low-key RAAL fan, so I feel like any buff we get to the RAAL could potentially move it closer and closer to being at least off meta, so another 60 ms on the ADS time, and the base movement speed up by 0.2 meters per second, which is pretty substantial. That's like, what, probably 6%, something like that, if my math's correct. That was very on-the-fly math, so it's probably not correct, but we get buffed to stim shot. Reduce slowdown duration while using stim. Oh, okay, that's good. So it's not like you're going walking speed whenever you stim. That's actually nice. No longer interrupts sprint while using it. Okay, so it's going to be a lot more fluid. That'll feel nice with the new movement they're adding to all the guns as well. So that'll be good. Bolt charge. Why can't we just leave the bolt charge? Honestly, that's actually not even a bad buff because the bolt charge is so useless. You only get one kill and then it's done. So I'm not even going to complain about that because it's still so ridiculously useless. It's not even funny. Attack redeploy. Reduce energy. Okay, don't care. Havoc buff. Increased charge obtained from kills and now disrupts enemy operator skill charge. I guess that's something, you know? Not going to actually matter. Ninja for BR, slightly increased movement speed. Spotter for BR, reduce max deploy radius from 150 meters to 100 meters. Explosions no longer inflict slowdown, reduce explosive damage. Shockwave BR, reduced radius from 15 to 10. Honestly, Spotter was... I remember Spotter being annoying when I did play the game, so if I was a BR player, I think I would probably be happy about that. And also, I feel like Ninja is one of the OG beloved classes, so that's probably solid as well. I just want to go back one more time and point out the absolute absurdity of the fact that the Striker 45 got a multiplier nerf before the USS9. I think that is the perfect encapsulation of the current COD Mobile meta. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Drop a like if you did. Subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next one.